Hello traders, good day and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be looking at the forex factory platform and how to make sense of the different fundamental news releases that we have that come out on these different asset classes and how they impact our markets, how they impact price action, how they impact how the market flows. One thing you want to know is you do not need a specific trading strategy to be able to trade these different fundamentals. If you do decide to trade them live, all you need to understand is what they mean for the different asset classes that you're focused on before they come out and also after they come out. Now, looking at the chart, you can see that the Forex Factory platform has different sections. There are sections on brokers, markets, the calendar, which is our major focus. There's also a section for news, trades, and forums, right? So under the brokers, I'm sure as you can guess, you just see a list of different broker platforms that you can use and the regulators behind those platforms, the year they were founded, the trading conditions, leverage platforms, etc. And then for the market, you can see specific asset classes that show and basically shows you the performance as well for the last 1 hour, last 6 hours, or even the last 12 hours. Then we go ahead to the calendar section and you can see that we have different things written here, which I'm going to be explaining shortly. And then, of course, one thing you also want to pay attention to is the time zone. You want to ensure that it tallies with whichever time zone you are using so that you are not behind or ahead of what the different fundamentals news are doing or the different times that they are released, right? Okay, then on the left side of this platform, you can see that we also have the calendar that shows today, tomorrow, this week, next week, etc, right? So if you want to check out for the news release coming out, say today, you can simply click on today and to show you everything we're expecting on today being the 9th of March 2025. If you go as far as tomorrow, it shows you the same thing, the data for tomorrow, and then for this week, it shows you all of the information that you need. All right, now back to the calendar itself to be able to see or understand how we can make sense of the different news releases that come out. If you look at this section here, you see the time. Okay, so let's start from the top. We have a date section, the different days that these news releases come out. We have a time that they come out as well, the currencies being looked at and their impact. And of course, as you've noticed by now, you see that there are some which are red in color, there are some which are orange in color, and some which are yellow in color. This red simply signifies high impact news, basically saying that whichever news release is coming out on that currency is high impact. And then for the yellow, not much, meaning it will not do so much on the chart. And then of course the medium news releases that come out, they don't do so much as well, but they are better than the low impact news releases. Now, there are certain news releases you want to pay attention to as a trader, certain types that have very high impact. And I'm talking things like the GDP, the CPIs, FOMC, NFP, ISM, manufacturing data, all of that. They carry different information on different things. For example, if you're trying to understand GDP, right? This GDP now basically it's a short form of GDP is basically the short form of gross domestic product, and it basically measures the total monetary value of all goods and services. Let's go ahead and see if we have any GDP news release coming out first so that we can fully understand what we are looking at. I think I saw one coming out on the 12th of March. Okay, it's on the 14th of March, and that's coming out on the pound. You can see that this data is GDP M over M, meaning GDP month on month. Now, what does it measure? This basically measures the total monetary value of all goods and services produced within a country over a specific period of time, right? You can also see that it shows you what it measures. It shows you what it measures. It also shows you the effect. So if this comes out greater than forecast, it is good for currency. What does that mean? If you look at this side of the chart, you'd see that there is a previous, there is a forecast, and there is an actual. This previous was the past data we had on that currency. The forecast is what is expected to come out, and then the actual is what actually comes out after the news release is done, right? So actual greater than forecast is good for currency, meaning that if you see 0.1% expected on the pound and it comes out as 0.3% or 0.2%, then there is stability in the pound. So higher GDP basically means stronger currency, and when you see a stronger currency, investors generally gain more confidence. But if it is a weaker GDP come out weaker than expected, then it basically shows that it shows economic slowdown or recession, which basically leads to potential currency depreciation. The same thing when you look at something like the CPI. The CPI is another high impact news release that we look at for when analyzing these different asset classes. The CPI now, what does it measure? It basically measures consumer price index and the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. This basically reflects the cost of living and the overall price stability in an economy. Very similar to what we saw in GDP, if we have a higher CPI, it shows a higher or a stronger currency coming into play shortly, and it means a stronger currency over time leads to rising inflation, which may lead to central banks having to raise their interest rates. And when central banks increase their interest rates, it gains investors into the economy, it attracts investors. So, of course, you're going to see more strength in that particular currency, in this case being the CAD. And if it is lower, it's going to do the opposite, which basically signals deflation, leading to lower interest rates. And of course, you see the chart also do accordingly, right? Perfect. So you can see that we have all of this happening. There are the high impact median CPI, trick CPI, and then there are the low impact and the medium impact. So for those of you who are new to understanding fundamentals, just simply click on the folder right here and it shows you what it measures. If you want to even gain more knowledge on how this works, you can go on platforms like forex live or investing.com and do your research on what these different things mean, right? But if that is too much work, a simple way you can do, or a simple way you can go rather, is using the ChatGPT platform as well. This also works. You simply put in what you're trying to research on and ask it to explain to you what these different news releases will mean for the asset class that you are looking out for. Now, I decided to show you how to use the ChatGPT platform to be able to make more sense of these different fundamental news releases that we have that come out on a weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. You can simply input your prompts and you can see I basically just typed in the latest CPI report is out, break down the data, including the headline and core CPI figures, the month-over-month and year-over-year changes and how they compare to forecasts, analyze the market reaction, especially in the forex market, and how this could impact central bank policy. Finally, suggest potential trading opportunities based on the data. Do you see this? This simple prompt is enough to give me a very detailed breakdown of the CPI that came out and how I can use it to my own benefit. All right, so I hope this video has been helpful in a way. For those of you who are totally new, just pay attention to these different data and use platforms that help you to understand them. I've used Forex Live in one of my videos, I believe, and I might make a video on that as well if you want to understand how that platform works. Just let me know and let's get to that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more details. With that being said, do have an amazing week. Cheers and God bless.